Actually, John, I'm going to speedball you with this. I think your last point is actually a really good first talking point on
Mhm.
how do we survive the holidays as autistic people, because there tends to be a lot of overwhelming things, I guess you could say, going on. Obviously, because like Halloween, you're bombarded with like crap. You're bombarded with a lot of it like months ahead of time. A lot of this stuff comes into stores months ahead of time, and then everybody's rushing around. It could be a little bit overwhelming either way, regardless. It's obviously Thanksgiving, you're having to go see your family members, and your family members might have opinions about people, that you don't necessarily agree with. And then obviously Christmas, there's always the uh I hate to um paraphrase or quote Big Bang Theory, but there's that whole like conundrum Sheldon had, like giving a gift to somebody. It's like there's always that feeling of like I have to give a gift to somebody, or I'm just like being ungrateful or a jerk. But I want your guys' like thoughts on that. Because I thought that like that point that you said like last or whatever actually was a good first one to start with. So
Yeah, I think that when it comes to that, I think when it comes to that, it's a matter of you have to really think of it and view it as like, yes, I've noticed this as I've gotten older. I've had more fun time of giving to people than getting, if I'm really going to be honest. Because when you're a kid, you tend to just ask for more, and you ask for more, and you ask for more. But when you're an adult, you tend to say, I don't really want much. So I just pinned down like what would be like the top three items or something like that for
Same.
hopefully wanting to get for Christmas. Because again, I don't want a lot of stuff. And but then when you are giving people stuff, sometimes you know the person very well.
hmm
Um, I actually did this really nice Lord of the Rings. I bought this wooden box, this like this wooden box that's like shaped like a book.
hmm
And so I may have made something for one of my family members with that box. I painted it out and made it look like a book. And inside, when they open it, it's there's going to be a painting inside. I thought that was a very nice idea. So may have started and inspired me to do a new project. So,
yeah, no, I think
And
but
yeah.
yeah, but to go back to like how I think the real problem is how corporate Christmas and holidays have become has really been
Yeah.
yeah,
a problem.
yeah,
So
what you were mentioning about how, like, as you get older, you don't really want that many gifts. And I think part of it for me has to do with when you're an artist, when you're a creator, and all that kind of stuff, you realize, oh, wait, I could just make this myself. Like I could literally just make stuff
yes,
for people. I don't need to buy like at most I would buy like just materials
Yeah.
just to make the thing to potentially give to someone. That's
mhm,
really the extent to which I could engage with the act of giving. I mean, although recently, as of like right now, admittedly, I don't really make a lot of stuff at like in terms of giving. I think it's just a matter of timing. I just need to find time to do
The
something
thing.
like that. Yeah. And like what do I make? What do I do? All that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
and and like you said, the fact and it really clashes with the whole society's idea of you need to buy this thing in order to be accepted by like at least that's what they're saying
Yeah,
when
yeah,
they're
that's the message it feels like.
yeah, where it's like in order to it's I don't know if you ever heard of this phenomenon called FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yep.
That's what they're doing
oh
essentially.
yeah,
So it
Yeah.
just it feels weird. It just feels weird being a creator where you could just create these things yourself, and then you have these people, and then you have these corporations like corporatizing all these holidays to take advantage of human psychology, buying
And then
psychology.
and the other problem is with this whole corporatizing everything is they've turned they've turned the holidays, especially Christmas, into a gift giving competition. That's
Yeah.
what
So
it's turned into, unfortunately.
yeah, it's just very, very one up each other type thing. I was gonna say
Yeah.
more for me for a joke is like that, or you have a very niche hobby and
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Oh, you buy yourself everything." So like nobody knows what to get you, and then you're like
Mhm.
screaming
Good
to the
boy.
hills exactly what you want. You send like
Mhm.
you send
The
a
link.
list of what you want, and it's still like it's like I sent a list. I mean, so it's like, but then there's me where sometimes I'm gonna go off camera for a second because
Mhm.
I'm gonna show this. I hope my best friend doesn't see this footage. So I'm just showing what I got from my friend for Christmas. It's funny we wanted to talk about Thanksgiving, but this is like a preemptive Christmas episode. So hold on.
Mhm.
This is a secret preview for potentially Christmas thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Well.
Right, sorry. So obviously, as you guys know, my best friend had that big breakup or whatever. I wanted to kind of do something for him to
Mhm.
just be a bro. So I ended up getting him this. Uh, it's a big
Oh, that's
Zoids kit.
cool.
Yeah,
Oh
so
no, nice.
I've
I wanted him something to build.
I keep seeing those kits and I've been thinking about getting one down the
Hmm.
road, but I just don't know how those things work.
It's I will say, I'm sorry we're trailing off. I will say, once you build like 70 of these, not literally, but
Mhm.
once you build like 70 of these, it's just kind of like clockwork. I literally just drawn out um how like a figure's articulation works. This is a sorry, I'm getting off subject, but I definitely think you know there's a little bit of a frustration sometimes of in the gift giving process is like how it's almost kind of get shows of how much does the person know you compared to how much do you know the person, so to say. Because you know
Mhm.
there's
Mhm. Yeah.
times of like, oh, somebody might send me exactly what they want, or it's like, well, I know this person basically to a T.
Mhm.
I'm gonna get them this thing, and then
Mhm.
obviously, there's always the dread of like getting more clothes for Christmas. And for me, my problem is I have a closet full of clothes. I don't need no more clothes. Um, it's just kind of that. I'll just like Jenna said, it's very, or like you guys said, it's very competition, become a competition of like who can get the best what or whatever. Um, and it is
Yeah.
because yep,
Unfortunately.
yeah. And it is, yeah, extremely unfortunate that like, and I think we already said it, but it's like the last 3 years, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas just becomes this big like, hey, buy all this now or you're gonna miss out. It's the very much it's that FOMO type thing. Even though I do think it's kind of, I mean, I touch upon it, like it is still kind of weird that like we corporatize a holiday that's really just hey everybody in the family gather around and let's have dinner together. Like why are we corporatizing, you know, why are we corporatizing a holiday for everybody to eat? Like, I mean,
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
I I guess for me personally, not to get too in depth, my family doesn't really celebrate Halloween that much, and I think it's
Mm,
just probably because most of my family aren't exactly spooky people,
okay.
Hmm.
whether it be like they're not a fan of like horror or they're just
Hmm.
disinterested. So it's just kind of weird. And also the place that we're at right now, the neighborhood that we're in, we don't we bear like no trick-or-treaters ever come to our place ever. So it's kind of
Oh, I
like
mean, oh,
Yeah.
I mentioned it like the episode we came back from Halloween. That
yeah.
like, literally there
Mhm.
was my town is like basically full of senior citizens. So
Yeah.
there was barely any kids in this town.
Yeah.
I think I
So it
think it
really
kind of go. Oh,
so it really just depends on the family and the neighborhood that you're like the environment that you're in. Meanwhile, for me anyway, Thanksgiving and Christmas are much more focused on.
Yeah. Same here. My mom will go all out for Christmas and Easter, and then
mhm.
we. I mean,
I feel.
my mom's side of the family years ago never really did much when it came to
Mhm.
Thanksgiving, but they'll go all out for Christmas. Like.
Yeah,
um,
I I definitely remember when I was very little, up until high school. Before everything kind of went down, especially after, let's see, 20, I don't want to get into the politics of it. Let's say 2016 era. Let's
mhm.
say that. Just not get deep into that. The holidays were a lot more bigger. I don't think it was just because of finances and stuff or political opinions. It was also, oh, I tend to notice for my family at least, I
Mhm.
can't say much for other families, that my family Thanksgivings have decreased a lot. Nobody wants to see
Mm.
each other anymore. Everybody wants to do like their own like separate different Thanksgivings.
Yeah.
And you end up,
Granted, oh
no,
how
no,
about
go
you?
ahead.
Uh, I was gonna say like I've experienced something like that too, where but I think a lot of it has to do with as as like the kids get older, as me and everybody else, as we get older, we just
Mhm.
we just kind of we're more focused on trying to earn a living, getting a job and all that, doing adult things essentially. And sometimes that it's just becoming harder to do that. But that's
Yeah.
not to say that we
Yeah.
don't celebrate it. I mean, for instance, this Thanksgiving, my grandparents actually drove over to my place, over to my family place, and
Uh-huh.
we
Mhm.
celebrated Thanksgiving there, Thanksgiving at my place.
Mhm.
So we still do it, whatever we can.
Yeah.
So it's like we do what we can, all that kind of stuff.
I
Yeah.
think it also comes to the question about like, are we even going to have holidays down the road? I think we still will have holidays down the road, but I think it'll be so different
Yeah.
to what we see now, even from a few years ago. I
I-
mean,
mhm.
remember when people went crazy over Black Friday? That all changed after the whole
Yeah.
COVID situation. That changed. So now there's no people going really in the store for Black Friday anymore as they used to.
Yeah, because
So that's
everybody's
down
doing that
gone.
Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Yeah.
Yep, yep. So they're doing that. And then you have, you know, and the thing is that these companies, they don't just do Black Friday on Black Friday. They do it like since November 1st. So
Yeah,
it's like you get
actually.
2 months practically.
Yeah, it's somebody said it, and I think it's really funny. It's like basically, hey, let's offload all our crap month, basically, is what the month of November kind of has become.
Yeah.
Because it's like hey guys, get ready for Black Friday at the end of the month and this, but you get some early Black Friday deals like right now. It's like why don't you just make it a whole like freaking thing? I feel like yeah, fundamentally, I'm sorry, it's kind of jumping. It's jumping back into what you're saying. It's like I feel like even right now, fundamentally, like the holidays have kind of changed,
Yeah.
especially with how families have bonded nowadays. It's like, I said this behind the scenes, but I've had, especially in the last decade, a lot of families have just kind of drifted apart because of certain opinions or,
Hmm.
it used to just be, oh, Tim just says some crazy stuff, but he's still invited or whatever because he's a big important
Yeah.
part of the family. But
But
nowadays, what?
now, oh, sorry, you continue.
But nowadays it's like, oh yeah, we kind of dropped off that half of the family because they got really deep into like conspiracy theories, like the whole family. It's like, well, I don't know why. So
Uh, yeah, a lot of it has to do with how in recent times we've just this certain events have validated extremist beliefs. They've
yeah,
certainly validated that
yeah,
to the point where it's like they think now they can just do and say whatever they want with no, like, they live in a bubble, and anything outside that bubble that interferes with it is automatically, it's like it's weird. But what's even more weird is that with my family specifically, and this is my
mhm,
experience, and something that has been happening, even like as this was happening, there's been this sort of subconscious agreement between all of our family members whenever we're around, whenever the time comes for we all get together, we never talk about anything sensitive or political with any visiting family members, which in this climate, and even like when it was at its peak, it was really rare. And even if there
Hmm.
was, it's usually hush or between two family members or
yeah.
me and the main family.
It would usually kind of be like, oh, the adults table. It was like a small subsection of the adults table, and then
Yeah.
the kids table, and
The
you know,
equivalent of the kids' table.
yeah, or the equivalent
The
of the kids table.
equivalent.
I think
Yeah.
I think the internet really does have to do with I don't want to say the downfall of the holidays or such, but like at least the whatever's going on with it right now. 'Cause, that's where all these like very fringe opinions like kind of get started or whatever, and then like for it kind of like snowballs into oh yeah, we're not inviting this family member anymore because they ended up being like a real like jerkwad or whatever. We're not talking to them anymore. Um, it does kind of make me miss the days of pre-social media internet
Yeah.
Or
and
Yep.
at least before everything went into chaos.
yeah,
Yep.
I kind of miss those days where you could have a big family gathering and you know, it kind of makes me also think of kind of scrolling back a little bit to like as autistics how we survive the holidays, especially like Thanksgiving. Oh, especially like Thanksgiving or Christmas. Because
Mhm.
I know my wife Tabby has this kind of thing. She gets very overstimulated when we see a bunch of people in a room like at a time.
Mm, yeah.
I don't know how like a decade ago or whatever I could like I mean actually probably couldn't, handle seeing like 12, 13, 14, 20 family members in one space at one time is just
Hmm.
like I don't know if you guys have had that experience of like trying to walk over like your partners or like a little cousin or like a or an uncle that's like talking to somebody or whatever because like it's just so crowded and It's just like
Yeah.
I know for me, I was getting a little bit overwhelmed at times
Mhm.
when I would be surrounded by like all of these family members, especially when this was prior to me marrying Tabby, where it was just more I was dating her and not like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, I've been married to her for like 4 years or whatever, part of the family. You know, so
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think I think when it comes to like really trying to survive is basically, honestly, just hope and pray you don't have you don't have a panic or anxiety attack when it comes to family get-togethers. Because
yeah.
I've noticed that, like, my gosh, this past Easter was just so bad for me. I don't know what happened, but I had a pretty extreme anxiety attack this past Easter.
Where are you
And
starting
I
from?
was like it was so bad. Like I felt like I was very overheated. I felt very faint. I
Uh-huh.
felt like I felt like I was really sick. And I was like, let's just hope, I don't, um all I did was just lay down and put my headphones, my wireless, like, noise canceling headphones on, and I just put those on, lie down, and just took a nap. And then after, when I woke up, pretty much everyone was gone. So I was like, okay, well, at least now everything's better. But since I've known that, like, okay, I get overstimulated when it comes to so many people being around, as you just mentioned, Dryw, that if
Uh-huh.
so many people are around, it's kind of like I just don't want to be around this right now kind of situation. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, anyway, I don't know. I just don't get overwhelmed with a lot of people. Like especially the times where me and my main family go to visit family members out of state. And there's a
mm,
lot of them. It's like I don't feel particularly overwhelmed. I
mm,
just more so I just kind of go with the flow, maybe find a corner somewhere, maybe someone will come over. I don't know. I take it as it comes, really.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
I did tend to notice, especially when I was younger, if I would just kind of get overwhelmed when like, there was like the older family members or whatever talking about like whatever they were talking about. I would try to group myself I put myself in the corner and group myself with like anybody who's like a little bit younger just so I didn't kind of feel like, it
Mm,
was like at that time, I was like, I'm still in high school. I don't know what any of these people are talking about. I just want to get away from that.
yeah,
And I guess I still kind of do that now, just kind of group myself towards the younger family members. Not like the little kids or whatever, obviously. I'm not trying to be a creep. But
Yeah,
if it's like the 5 year, 3 to 10 year gap or whatever, my sister-in-law and brother-in-law are like, my brother-in-law is 17 now. So
mm,
it's like I could try to group myself with like the younger side of the family, just because probably also it's just like a little bit more of a sensibilities type situation too. You
yeah,
know, a lot of like, especially the younger side of the family, a lot of us are a little bit more progressive, or we have a lot of similar opinions on certain things. I mean, of course, go to my aunt's house on my mom's side. I could have a solid conversation with my cousin Brandon about
mhm,
things. We might not 100% agree on certain politics or whatever, but it's like we have a very civil, conversation.
yeah.
But like
That's
his brother just kind of parrots whatever he says, even though his brother's like 2 years older than him. I love my family. I'm just like,
yeah.
it's funny.
That's that's the same with my well actually and then there are sometimes where I don't I just kind of wander. And like maybe I may
Yeah.
get dragged into a conversation. I don't know. I'm just gonna wander, pretend I'm interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stick around
Yeah.
here. I was like, oh, you guys are talking about the new uh I'm gonna date myself a little bit saying this. Like, it's like, oh, you guys were talking about that new episode of Iron Chef or whatever. I was like, that's still a thing? Probably, I don't know. It's like, how
Yeah.
are we doing, guys? How about that new Iron Chef?
Oh,
Uh,
Uh,
yeah.
and actually, when we were talking about the whole thing of family members cutting part of the family off because of certain beliefs, I've been thinking recently that I feel like the only like I don't think that's really like it's not great cutting part of the family off just because they think a little more extreme because that's not gonna fix anything. Because I feel like the only way to, and this is part of a much bigger set of thoughts that we could like discuss as a different topic in the future or whatever, uh, is that the only real way to make some sort of like change within people is to speak to them on their level and
Yeah.
even ask them themselves like why do they think, act what they do. It's like why they do the things that they do because
Mhm.
sometimes there's a whole lot of deeper things going on.
yeah,
Yeah.
I will say, especially this year, you have tended to notice that
Mhm.
there is a good amount of people with like these ideals that have kind of loosened up on them because they've kind of seen how, having such negative opinions on things or people actually has just been kind of like shoved down their throat, and they're just be like, I just kind of see where my problem is. I mean, obviously, of course, you're just going to get the family member who like outright hates like certain groups of people or whatever, even outside of all of that. It's like, so they've always kind of been like this.
And granted, sometimes that's something that that's just a reality that we kind of that we have to accept, really, that no matter what you do, some people will just not change at all. So focus on the people that you can change.
Yeah. I know,
Yeah.
I know, like I was taught, me and Tabby's cousin, we were talking to her brother, and she was asking him a lot of questions. It's like he's always just kind of middle of the road with a lot of things, but we're just trying to figure out. It's like, well, how do you feel about these things? Because he's never very vocal. I think we talk about like the younger generation things. It's like, you know, I think that's one thing we kind of have to worry about now. Is like we have to kind of worry about what their thoughts and opinions and all these type of things that are going on right now is, because you never
Mhm.
know. You know, some people might are saying it's like, oh yeah, the younger generation is kind of being, extremized or whatever in certain topics, or like they do see what's wrong, and it's just I've experienced it, is where you see something wrong and you just kind of get ignored because you are, on the younger side. It's like, oh, you're young, you don't know any better. Or it's like, just because you know, they are not aware or I'm not aware of like certain like intricacies doesn't mean you can't like call out something like it is. So, I guess it's just all kind of is a matter of
Yeah,
opinion or like
experience.
experience. Yeah.
And I
Um,
think
Uh,
just, oh, I'm sorry.
no, 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 no. No. Go ahead.
I
Go ahead.
think I think when you just mentioned, the whole thing about like, oh, you're young and you won't understand. I really hate when people kind of use that phrase, especially with people on the autism spectrum, because they
Yeah.
treat like they're younger than their peers.
I.
And I think
Yeah.
that that is such a big, it's such a big problem. Kind of, it's literally like people are trying to talk down to people on the autism spectrum, and it's so sad. It's like we don't want to be talked down. We just want to say, I want to understand the situation here.
Yeah.
I want to understand what's going on here. So,
And that's always been a huge pet peeve of mine
yep.
is, and
Mhm.
I've had this for a very long time, is, you know, I kind of get the preface of like, oh yeah, I'm on the spectrum, all this kind of stuff, and then get talked down to. And, there's the little bit of like not understanding certain things and then end up we're a little bit more klutzy on certain things, or we're a little bit more this, and it just kind of we get infantilized. And then that also kind of bleeds into like if we have certain opinions on things that we feel like are kind of feel wrong, then somebody might be like, hey, what's up with that? Um,
Mhm.
we're getting a bit on the not macabre, but a little bit of
Like we're
bummer.
getting kind of depressing. We're
And
getting
we're getting a little
depressing.
depressing.
Yay!
Uh, you know, we got 10 minutes. We have some time. Let's talk
Mhm.
about Thanksgiving films. I think
and and thank
Peanut special.
and thankfully it's not a lot.
I
or
you
or
know,
No,
or in the
yeah.
sense of time, or the sense of time, like how much time we have left with this. Uh but yeah,
Yeah.
I've noticed that while there are American shows that do have like Thanksgiving specials, it doesn't appear to be as common as like Halloween or Christmas ones. I mean, there's still a lot of them. Like recently, I looked on the Wikipedia page for Thanksgiving specials. Like, there's still a lot. There's still a lot that's
Yeah.
there.
Is
It's just
it
it's not as big as Halloween or Christmas. And I think it's mostly just because it's American thing.
yeah, it's because it's American holiday. I was gonna say, yeah, it's probably not as lucrative, outside of America, just because like it's a very much like American centric holiday, especially the whole sailing across the ocean blue, 1492, giving the food, all that kind of fun jazz and other certain things that
Mhm.
happen around that time. Yeah, it is kind of more of like there are Christmas movies that have like stuff that happens in the month prior around Thanksgiving, but I'm
Mhm.
looking at a Thanksgiving movie like list right now, and it's like it's kind of actually pretty small. I mean,
The
The only
only,
special I know about is the Peanuts one.
I mean,
Obviously,
yeah,
yeah,
Peanuts Thanksgiving, which is really good.
yeah.
yeah,
The only other Thanksgiving movie that I could think of is that one movie called Thanksgiving, that one horror movie called Thanksgiving by Eli Roth.
oh yeah, that or Thanksgiving.
Oh my gosh.
I was gonna say there's another one. Freaking.
Thanksgiving, more like Thanksgiving.
Somebody says that or at least the site I'm looking at says that you could consider The Wiz a Thanksgiving movie. It's like I wouldn't think that like a Wizard of Oz film would be a Thanksgiving movie. I don't know why you would like consider that. I guess set around Thanksgiving just kind
I
of
don't
feels a
know.
little bit weird.
I mean,
Um,
I don't know. I
We'll let the
admittedly,
audience decide.
right?
yeah. I mean, admittedly,
Other people will
I
watch it.
don't.
It's like Die Hard being a Christmas movie. It's like does it?
Um,
Yeah, sure, okay.
like,
Oh,
I don't know. I admittedly don't really watch like these sorts of things, so I don't have much experience or thought or like some sort of criteria or whatever. How do we critique a Thanksgiving thing for being a Thanksgiving thing? I don't know.
I feel like you could go of like a National Lampoon level where it's like the whole movie just like revolves around Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
Mhm.
or I didn't even know this. I was just looking it up. Paul Blart Mall Cop is a
Ah,
Thanksgiving film. Well, I guess
It
because apparently like what the climax of the movie takes place around Black Friday or something.
I don't know.
I
I think for I don't know whatever you're looking at, but clearly it's like cherry picking
yeah, I was
at
gonna
this point.
say
Like
I,
finding superficial elements within the movie
that's
itself.
that's literally what I'm kind of just getting the vibe of is a lot of these are just like very pick and choose. Like like you just said, shit. Freaking the 2002 Spider-Man has a scene during Thanksgiving. That doesn't mean it's a Thanksgiving film. It's just it happens late in the year, and all this kind of stuff happens. It's like so. It's
But
just funny.
also
Like what?
but also because um they like the idea of just sitting like people who are close like people who are close or family members or whatever sitting around a table for dinner doesn't it seem it's a pretty universal concept outside of Thanksgiving, so
Oh
it's kind of
yeah.
weird.
Oh yeah, and that's why, that's why it still works. That's why that section of the movie, you take it out of the American context, it still works as like just having a big like family dinner with friends or whatever. It's like, oh, what these two just got an apartment together because of their financial situation. Let's have a big family dinner or whatever. That's reasonable. That's something that other people do outside of this country. That's not just like centralized around Thanksgiving. And yeah, I do you do tend to notice it is you were right in the dot when you said it, Jenna. It's like it is really a pick and choose type list or whatever because he's just like going through all these. I mean, obviously, there's like the words that literally have Thanksgiving in the name, or pilgrim, or turkey, or Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. It's yeah, it's just literally
My friend
happens
suggested
with it.
that I buy something called Loop, which is for ears to kind of simmer down the sound of things. There's these things called Loop earphones or something that they kind
Uh-huh.
of like simmer down like the noise around you.
Yeah.
So everyone brought this episode brought to you by Loop. Not just kidding. Sponsored by
This
Oh
is
my
so
everybody.
goodness.
we can't say that
How does
in case like something
how to
that'd be
survive
funny.
how to survive the holidays? Buy yourself a pair of Loop headphone your your headphones.
That would
That's how
if
you all survive.
if
So
we can ever get to the sponsors, I'm gonna cut this out. If we ever get to the sponsors, that'd be funny. Just like to do a cut to like a very like well well or choreographed or well directed it like short of just like us doing that. But
yeah.
yeah, I think it really just kind of goes back to the point of like just so
Hmm.
we can actually get on the topic of like Thanksgiving, we were talking about Thanksgiving and kind of with Thanksgiving movies. Yeah, no, I don't think it's just because contextually, I think it's just a huge context thing.
Hmm.
You take a movie about a
Hmm.
American only holiday and put it into a different country or whatever. Most of the time, they're not going to understand like why do they do this. They know the context of like some of the stuff like why is it so they kind of see it from an outside of our perspective. So
Yeah. And
They don't know what went
meanwhile,
down.
and meanwhile, they seem to be more focused on creating the billionth Christmas movie that nobody will remember, by the way. And actually, this is a very interesting
the
topic
new
that we could talk
Hallmark
about.
movie. Oh, that would be like
That
especially
would be,
around Christmas or the
yeah,
Christmas.
about, yeah, especially around Christmas. Why is it that that these modern Christmas movies are just not getting remembered enough? And
Yeah,
what made the ones in like the 80s or whatever, like what made them special?
there's that
What
little
made
bit
them
of like
so
Casey
remembered?
Cook did it for
there's
viewers.
that little bit of the whatever the is wrong with cameras or whatever back then or whatever. Yeah, we could. I think even before like a Christmas thing, actually, probably even for the Christmas episode, we could talk about like the obviously the oversaturation of Christmas, but just all the Christmas specials and why I'm joking when I say this, why I hate Hallmark Christmas specials because it's all because you get a girl that lives in a cozy like uptown thing or whatever,
Oh
and
my
then
God.
she goes into like her old hometown, and this random guy who's basically you could constitute to be a hobo ends up like wooing her, and then she ends up breaking up with her fiance of like 5 years who has a steady job to leave
Oh
her
my
for
gosh.
to leave him for a guy that she only met like 2 weeks ago because
Oh
it's
my
the
goodness.
Christmas spirit.
Oh my gosh.
Would you rather go with the hobo? Okay, got it.
Wait,
So
she went with the guy who has a track record for tax evasion and wait, really?
oh my,
Really?
uh
I was like,
so
someone we know. Not just kidding.
so I have a I don't know if we could like stop right here or whatever. But I was just going to say that so I have a parent who I think ironically watches Hallmark movies, but it's and you know what's weird? You know what they're doing now? They just created a reality TV show, and I don't know
Like a
why.
Hallmark reality show?
Yes, yes. And it's so weird because you look at the Hallmark movies and it's clearly so artificial and weird. So you're looking at this reality show and you're like, wait, is this supposed to be an actual reality show, reality competition? Or is it still a Hallmark show? I don't know. What is
I
reality?
think what we could even do is like let's actually we could probably stop recording now so we can
Yeah,
actually plan
yeah.
for a second AI thing or whatever.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
Oh, it's like they see this as a trend. They want to follow a trend, and I hope the bubble pops. I'm already seeing like some numbers or whatever that it almost looks like it might pop soon. But it's just like business savvy or whatever, like these guys that are like, oh, this is just the vibe, bro. We have to invest this thing because of the vibe. It's like it's so dumb. We're getting back into that kind of thing again, but it is very frustrating. I can understand in some point of like, oh, this thing became popular again. Let's bring it back in some way. Hey, I can understand that. But like as we said before, sometimes it doesn't hurt just to like re-air episodes.
Yeah, and that's again so confusing about like what is wrong with reruns? What is
Mm-hmm.
wrong with that? Like you see, actually, I think there's already channels like on YouTube TV or whatever. They're already doing that, and yet y'all are not actually like doing that. Like you have your streaming service already, which are technically reruns if you really think about it.
True.
So why are you wasting your money on these like reboots or whatever, like when you can just like rerun it? But what do I know? Maybe, like I said, maybe they're just more interested in flaunting their wealth and look at all the epic special effects that we can afford
Yeah, look at all the
while they
stuff
look
we
like
own.
while the special effects or whatever look like absolute dog crap because you're probably not paying them real well.
Yeah, they want to get it out faster, which
Yeah.
in like production time, making it look good versus getting it out is like two totally different things. There
Yeah.
Yeah.
is
And
one show. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and that's probably one of the reasons why some uh shows like for some franchises breaks take a long time is because maybe they are trying to make it look as good as they can. I mean, that's one of the reasons why Beyond
Yeah.
the Spider-Verse is taking as long as it is because they're trying to make it look as good as possible.
Well, that and it's a mixed media type movie.
Yeah.
You have to like get the media to look like blend together
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's a good chunk of it. It's CGI. The animator that did like all the Lego sections of the movie, you have to have somebody that understands how Legos move, or
Hmm.
you get like scenes with Hobie. You have they want like the way that Hobie's world looks or Hobie looks. They need that to work. They need to get all these programs to run like edge shading and all that kind of stuff to work. I don't know if they're going to do like any live action sequences. I don't think they are. It would be interesting to see at least like a live action world, even if it's just for like a microsecond or whatever. That's totally unrelated. I mean, but we have seen live action characters in it. But I can understand that VFX takes a long time. Um,
Yeah.
I wanted to add before we cut off was
Hmm.
there is one show I'm glad that ended after 13 years, I believe. It was that MTV America's Funniest Home Videos ripoff or whatever, where it's just all those
Mm.
like hosts sitting on a couch, like talking about how online funny clips or whatever ridiculousness.
Mm.
Like that's all MTV became after a while. It was just that. I
Yeah.
think it. I think before we can cut off,
I,
I
I I'm
really do think
reminded.
it applies to networks too.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was just gonna say when you mentioned MTV, it's like, oh, I'm reminded of that one lyric from Fallout Boy's cover of "We Didn't Start the Fire," where it's like updated version, where it's like updated news things. It's an updated version of it from
Hmm.
like 1989 to 2023, I think it is,
Yeah, it
and
was
I
like
think
music played on MTV.
yeah,
Hmm.
no, music, no, YouTube killed MTV. That was the
Oh
lyric.
yeah, YouTube killed MTV. Yeah, no, yeah, I had to remember that. But
Hmm.
yeah, no, it really did. But I will say, kind of before closing, I really do think it also kind of applies to networks too. Take a look at Animal Planet, Science Channel, or TLC. Some of these networks aren't even like playing stuff that they, you know, basically announced themselves to be. Now it's just like TLC is just all this frickin' in reality TV.
Yeah.
Animal Planet's just like go not I don't think it's Ghost Hunters, but it's like some weird bayou show. Frickin'
They became more became more sensational rather than
yeah.
actually like educational.
Yeah.
Yeah. Science Channel became like Ancient Aliens, the TV network. It's just
Gosh darn it.
It's a
it,
mess.
it's all a mess. I miss when the Science Channel actually had science. Well,
I miss when the History Channel used to be about history.
yeah, really,
Yeah.
honestly. I mean, when MythBusters actually used to like, I know they were just like special effects like experts, but they were kind of taking it into a some sort of approach to try to somewhat of a scientific approach and actually get people that were experts in the field to help with it. And obviously how it's made and all that kind of stuff. There was that too. I just kind of miss when there was some sort of like expertise or some sort of scientific thing going on with it rather than just being science fiction, so to speak. So, ooh, man, oh,
Okay, I think that's a good
yeah,
part
that's
to
good.
end
That's
off.
good. Oh man, hey guys. So it is current slash future of this recording. Dryw here to say we are probably going to be taking about a 1 to 2 week break, depending on how our schedules line up for the holidays. So I am planning to release a new interview. It's been a couple months just because we're figuring out logisticals and I had to do that movie. So, it's kind of things got in the way. And after that one, we have another one that we've already done and is in the editing bay right now. Now we actually have an intro done for that. The other one that we're planning to do is basically ready to go. So now just gotta get it out. So we're gonna be taking for recordings at least, we're going to be taking 1 to 2 weeks off. And if anybody who is listening, who is still here, enjoy. Hope you enjoyed the show. And yeah, so I just wanted to let you guys know what's going on. So thank you for watching. Whether or not this is at the beginning or the end. Thank you for watching.